Bring a Trailer podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bring a Trailer podcast. My name is Alex. I am the operations director for the company, joined in our headquarters in San Francisco once again by Beck, the manager of our white glove department. Hey, Beck.
Hey, Alex. Glad to be here.
Always happy to have you, bud. And for the first time on the mic, our colleague Cameron, who works on our curation team. Cameron, thanks for doing this, man.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we're stoked to have you. You're a little nervous about how you're going to sound, so no pressure. We're just playing one of our very popular one-year games today, and we're going to do, well, you tell us what year we're doing and why.
We're going to do 1997 today, and the reason we chose that's my birth year. I do have a birthday coming up in a couple months here, not right around the corner, but yeah, figured it'd be fun to choose some 1997 cars. There's lots of good options to choose from, and stoked to see what you guys chose.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's going to be awesome. How does that make you feel, Beck?
It makes me feel, I don't know, pretty good. I mean, I was thinking about this last night, and while we all sort of know what Cameron was doing in 97, Alex, where were you? What were you doing in 97?
I turned 14 in 1997, so I was already into cars. I had my first car, my Carmen Ghia. That was the year I moved to San Luis Obispo. It was my freshman year of high school. I was definitely reading all the car mags. I was just starting to really kind of get into it and have interests in cars. I was thinking a lot about what I would like to drive. And later in my early 20s, in the early 2000s, my roommate, shout out Tony, and I had a kind of ongoing belief that 1997 was the best year of cars of all time. So that's something I want to debate with you guys too. But before we do that, what were you up to, Beck?
I would have been 12 years old, 7th grade, 8th grade, somewhere around there. But crucially, this is the year the internet came into my home.
Ooh.
I remember the moment my mom...
iMac? Our first one was an iMac.
No, we weren't an Apple family.
Okay.
My mom was an accountant, so we were a fully IBM.
Okay, gotcha.
IBM clone. I don't think we could afford an IBM at the time. But she was an accountant, and we would get the hand-me-down computers from her office because after 2 years, those computers were considered like defunct and old technology. And so we got one home. She brought home, I remember, Internet Explorer on a CD-ROM, connected the phone jack, and Craigslist had just started.
Oh, interesting. You were on Craigslist in 97?
So it started in 95, and it was a local thing. It started here in San Francisco, and it started off as just a classifieds for the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. And it probably wasn't 97, probably more like 98, 2000. I was really on there, but I was printing out ads for cars and taping them on the wall. I didn't have the mindset of really like looking backward and reviewing, but I was really just looking at like dollar per horsepower ratio. So like you'd find someone's like dragster project for like $5,000. I thought this is clearly what I need to buy. And that eventually started the BCF, which was the Beck Car Fund. Around that time, I was exclusively asked for no more presents and only donations to the BCF.
Just fund it.
Completely.
Fund it.
And
it was a proto GoFundMe. So, but does that mean when you were 12 years old, you were already interested in cars and thinking about it?
For sure. By this point, I was in the passenger seat. 97, we would have just gotten our Ford Explorer in black.
Famously, every car guy's favorite.
Completely. But I was in
that may be on Cam's list. I'm not sure. That's like a classic car for you, buddy.
Lots of friends with those cars growing
Sure.
up.
We went from a Taurus wagon to an Explorer. Just went to S&C Ford on Van Ness and Market and just traded one in for the other. And definitely by this point, I was in the passenger seat turning the ignition every single time we got in the car. It was a request.
Oh, that was what you got to do.
That was my thing. My mom, her 2 rules of life were she didn't pump gas and she didn't paddle. So I got to do all the gas. I got to do all air and tires and turn ignition on the car.
Paddle? You mean like in a canoe?
In a canoe or something, yeah.
Nice. I needed a little clarity there. You didn't get spanked too much when you were a kid.
This is true.
Cam, I actually don't know this about you, and I'm glad that I'm going to discover it on air. Obviously, you were just being born in 97, but when did you get into cars, and what's your car background? You come from a car family?
Yeah, in some sense. I got into cars pretty early on, specifically through both of my grandfathers. Both of them were very into cars.
They're Beck's age and my age. Is that right?
Yeah, nice. No, but very kind of into opposing ends of the spectrum car-wise. My mom's father was very into vintage Cadillacs and kind of, the 40s, 50s, big boat sedans. He had a strong affinity for those. He was also very into early Model A's and Model T's like that. And then my father's dad was very much into the European sports car thing. He had quite a few Porsches as I was growing up. But man, early memories of sitting in my grandfather's lap and him letting me kind of steer as he backed up the driveway or pulling into the driveway.
Did you ever get to shift? Did anybody let you shift from the passenger seat?
He would let me pull the whatever you want to call it, column shift. But I do remember once my dad got, he had a 99 Boxster that I now have ownership of. But I remember sitting in the passenger seat of that and him teaching me how to shift through the gears and helping him with that. So
Great.
those are my earliest memories car-wise, and those kind of just set me off. Each of my grandpas would get me models to build every Christmas and things like that. So they were definitely my main influence getting into cars.
Freaking
driving on a lap while keeping the hood ornament, something that's not in cars anymore.
Mercedes was really good for that.
So my new wagon has one, and I can't not. I feel like a child every time I get into it.
It's a gun sight, buddy. Awesome, guys. Well, for those listeners who have not done one of these games before, and also just so that we can all remember how to do this, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go around the horn here, the three of us, and pick one car each from 1997 from 5 categories. So there's going to be 15 total cars selected or drafted here today. No doubling up. And there's going to have to be some discussion of that, right? Like, can you draft a 993 turbo if somebody else drafted a 993 coupe? That kind of thing, right? Like a non-turbo. So we may have to hash some of those things out in real time. Mm-hmm. The 5 categories are sports car, 4x4 truck, family hauler, a daily driver, and a wild card. I have 3 little torn up pieces of paper here to pick the order. That's very important. I think Beck and I in particular will have some crossover. I'm very curious to hear what Cam is going to draft. But before we do that, I thought we could talk, even though it was the year you were born, Cam, a little bit about 1997, the year, which is something listeners liked us to do. And so I have some stats here. Beck, I don't know if you did any prep on this. Okay. Do you know what the number one or even any of the top movies from 1997 were?
Oh, man.
Good movie.
I mean, 90s.
I was in the movies a lot because I was 14. So I was in the theater a lot. I saw definitely 3 of the top 4 in the theater.
This is after The Rock. The Rock came out.
Rock is 96, I think, 96, or maybe even 95.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know
okay. Number 1 was Men in Black, which I definitely saw in the theater and loved. I've latter become more of a fan of Bad Boys, the first big Will Smith movie, but like that was rated R. I probably saw it on VHS, but couldn't have seen that in the theater. But Men in Black.
I definitely had
huge Will Smith
Millennium, the album.
100%. The song and all that stuff.
For sure.
Yes. You're stepping a little bit on my top albums of the year, but that was up there.
Nice.
Number 2, Jurassic Park Lost World.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I don't even remember which one that is. Is it maybe
I think it's number 2.
I think so. I think it's the one that had
it's Mercedes
the ML.
M-Class.
Yes, that was the debut of the M Class.
And
Goldblum back, and I think
back, but that's it though, I think.
Yes, I think it's Julianne Moore is the other actor in that.
Correct.
Yes, this was the second Jurassic.
Yeah, okay. And then number 3 was Liar Liar.
Phenomenal.
Number 5, Air Force One, which I couldn't see in the theater because it's rated R, but that's a classic. You seen that one, Cam?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Cam's our Gen Z representation. We need more Gen Z representation on the pod. And number 5, which I definitely saw, was the re-release of the original Star Wars movie.
Sure.
Remember that? And they added all the bits into them. I bet you saw that too.
I 100% was in line at the Coronet Theater, corner of Arguello and Geary. If you ever see like the old photo of the blockbuster, the original blockbuster of Star Wars, that's the theater. It was absolutely enormous. And that came back. You're absolutely right. That was right. 97. It was all in preparation
Remember they added
for the
prequels.
Scenes.
Yes.
Yes. It was the
Jabba.
special edition.
Remember they put Jabba into the first one. Have you ever seen that one?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
This is the beginning of classic fans like myself starting to get a little nervous. Although we maintained our enthusiasm even through part of the prequels, but it's like, oh, George, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
Interesting. So is this leading into the release of the second trilogy?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Which would be the trilogy you grew up on, but for Beck and I was kind of the abomination.
We were kind of in the middle. So I remember as a kid, we were too young for the original trilogy to have seen it in theaters. And I think this was.
But you were watching on VHS the time.
All the time. Yeah. And only recorded off of TV.
Correct. With commercials.
With commercials. And I would always try to perfect my VCR recorded version of it by trying to cut out commercials. And it was just a horrible version of it. I had like the whole cast list memorized at some point. And there was clearly hunger for youth wanting to get into Star Wars. They brought out Shadows of the Empire.
Yes.
That book came out.
Legos. I had all the Star Wars
FAO
Legos.
Schwartz, downtown San Francisco had a whole Star Wars floor practically. And so in preparation for, I think, the prequels or the second trilogy was re-releasing the 3 with a bunch of extra CGI that George Lucas felt like he just had to get out there.
He cleaned some of it up, and they had filmed extra scenes. So the Jabba scene has young Harrison Ford in it.
Right.
But he was walking around an actor. Have you never seen this version?
No.
So it's the first time you see the Millennium Falcon. They're in Mos Eisley, but they didn't know what Jabba was going to look like. So he's walking around an actor, and then they had to drop in the slug, and they had to do some weird stuff, including him stepping on the tail because he walks around the guy, which wouldn't work if it was a big slug. Anyway.
Interesting.
Next BAT pod is going to be all about Star Wars prequels.
The vehicles of Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right, let me rip through some of this other stuff and we'll get back to cars. Top albums. Number 1, Tragic Kingdom, no doubt, a classic. Like all this stuff is classic to you, right, Cam?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Oh, come on. You know all the no doubt hits. Life After Death, Notorious B.I.G., which I definitely owned and is fantastic. And number 3, Spice Girls. Spice Girls. Yeah.
Spice Up Your Life.
Yeah. This was Spice, which I believe was album. Maybe that's the original, or maybe that's the second album. I can't remember.
Spice Up Your Life might be a name of a song. I'm out of my league.
There was also a movie.
There was a movie. That's very true.
It was definitely ever present in the late 90s.
I think a lot of moms, what was their entry-level SUV for Lexus?
But this is pre-RX, I think. There weren't that many SUVs in the late 90s, man. That stuff didn't take off till the beginning of the 21st
Definitely
century.
saw a Spice Girls album and an NSYNC
People
album.
were still driving. I remember riding around in a lot of like Suburbans and Tahoes and stuff, which may come up on this draft. Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Lasers.
Yeah, and minivans. Like, the
MPVs.
classic minivans, but even the rear-wheel drive ones were still, the American minivans were still a big...
Windstar.
Yep, absolutely.
Plymouth, yeah.
Formula One championship, you know this, Beck? Can you pull this from your head?
God, 97. No, I don't think I can.
Villeneuve, Jacques Villeneuve.
There you go.
Williams, Renault. So Villeneuve won drivers, and then he was driving a Williams Renault, which they won the constructor championship that year. I think that's his only championship.
I think so. Is this also the year that they had
Son of Gilles Villeneuve.
automatic suspension that got banned after like 2 or 3 races?
When I was reading up on it last night, see, you guys are going to have to school me on this. I don't follow. This was the year Michael Schumacher got disqualified and he got pushed down. So he would have finished high, but he smashed into somebody, maybe into Villeneuve, and got a bunch of points taken away. Le Mans, the Le Mans winner? This is a car I actually don't know that much about.
I was going to guess GT1.
It's not. Let's not spoil the draft. That may come up again. Yeah, look at, I can see Cam's eyes. It's called the TWR WSC-95. It's an open cockpit prototype. TWR is Tom Wilkinshaw. So they built a Tom Wilkinshaw. I didn't know about this car. Open cockpit Tom Wilkinshaw prototype, but it has a 935 engine in it. So it's a Porsche / Wilkinshaw.
Interesting.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, I've seen this before, but I didn't.
Related to the RS Spider? Because the RS Spider is later. It's 90.
It looks more 90s prototypey. Honestly, it looks like the BMW V12, which won a couple years later. Open cockpit, mid-engine. It's good looking.
WSC 95, you said?
Second and third place, though, which probably is the headline.
Doesn't look like a Porsche.
No.
Kind of the front end a little bit.
So I read somewhere it's an evolution of the Walkinshaw like Jaguar, silk cut Jaguar cars, the closed cockpit ones that were so fast on the Mulsanne, with the fared in rear wheels.
Yeah.
What's the, so in the engine?
But it has a 935 engine. Yeah. It's a twin turbo Porsche.
Old engine, but
but still made a freaking ton of power, right? And not huge on displacement, which was a big deal, right? I think the banner, though, the headline for Le Mans is second and third place were McLaren F1s, the racing F1s. What were those called? What's the racing?
GTR.
McLaren
GTR.
Yeah.
Was it not the LM?
There's an LM edition of the McLaren F1.
I have a hard time keeping track of all of them, but these are the pure racing
We'll be talking
ones.
about it soon.
Yeah. Well, there's potentially some category fraud on that, right? Like what year are McLaren's, what do they actually count for, right? I don't think any of those were built in 97, were they?
There's definitely 97 model year cars. I don't know if they were.
Well, there was the Ameritech. We'll litigate all that out when we fight it. Any other biggies on 97 before we dive in? Before we pick a drafting order here?
Nothing from me.
Nothing from you, Cam.
I don't have too much
life
experience.
Just experiencing life for the first time.
Congratulations
on a whole lot of new
Congratulations on being alive in 1997. Okay, well, I guess what I'll say lastly just about Bring a Trailer, which I use now almost exclusively for my prep on these. I don't even go many other places. We have had almost 3,500 listings from 1997, so very popular. As Beck and I have talked about on the pod before, and as I'm sure you know, Cam, 2000s is typically our most popular decade, and with the 90s close behind, sometimes 2010s. Those kind of compete with each other. So a lot of results from 97. We had 16 or 17 live last night when I was looking. So plenty to pick from on BAT if you want to just use results. Is that what you did too, Beck, for prep?
I do a bit of searching via categories on the site for 97. The difficulty is obviously if it's something really special and rare, we may have actually had it, but we had it as a 96 or as a 95. Right. Then you have to do the research to find out was it actually available in 97.
Hundo.
So you do end up on Wikipedia and other sort of third sites as well. This is also the first time that it's been a while since I've done one of these one-year garages, and Google AI doesn't let you do searches without it pushing its viewpoint.
I noticed that when I was prepping some weird Google stuff. Google has opinions on what the best car from 1997 is.
Correct, it does.
I can't say they're correct.
No, I agree.
Also, the photos they chose were completely incorrect sometimes. It said a certain model car, but the photo for the car was not matched at all.
Yeah. How did you do your prep, Cam? First time, we didn't give you any hints. You had to figure it out.
Yeah, it was mostly through BAT. Some of the wild card stuff, like Beck was saying, you had to venture out a little bit. But a majority I was pulling from the site and just going through our various categories, which are easily accessible, and just kind of searching for 1997 and perusing what we've had.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was a great time. I have a feeling that a lot of these are going to be very much nostalgia picks for the two of you. So I'm really excited to hear what.
No, I think this is good. Again, we actually do need more Gen Z representation. It's hard getting old, Beck, but we need young car people. We need to remind people there are young car people. Some people think that's not the case, which is damn lies as far as I'm concerned.
Very much the case.
So I'm actually pretty excited to hear what you pick. Cam is by far the youngest person we've ever played this game with, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Just one last thing since I teased it. So now you guys, we've talked prep in it. I think 1997 is a strong candidate for best year of cars of all time. What do you guys think after prepping?
It's a very strong candidate. I really think it's subjective based on what cars you typically lean towards. I think going back into the 60s and 70s, there are a few years where manufacturers were putting out some heat.
Yeah, 100%.
So tough for me to say it's the best year. I think being where you guys were at age-wise at this time and being into cars, I think it's a strong contender for the two of you. Just 100%. Because
we're in the 90s nostalgia wave right now. Everyone's wearing baggy pants again, which I thought would never come back in. And so this is probably a good time to do it. We've done 95 and 99, which are also both good years. So it's possible just the late 90s in general was a fantastic time.
It's a good time. It's a big era of cars, I think, that you can still very much live with today.
Yes.
These could be truly a daily workhorse vehicle, and it wouldn't feel that vintage as long as you get Bluetooth connected added in. It's basically just what's really the
cruise
advantage.
Control, air conditioning, all that stuff. But I think, I think about this a lot when I think about the NSX that I sold. It's maybe the ideal mix of feeling vintage and interesting and old, but also still totally livable, right? And this era is full of cars like that. All right, boys, let's do the draft order. I have our names on little torn up pieces of paper here. This is super scientific and totally fair. I'm going to have Cam pick. All right. You're picking who's going first. Oh my God.
Looks like
totally rigged.
Nice.
Cam going first. Picked himself.
First timer. He gets good.
Yeah. And as usual, I will lose. Okay, great. We do throw these up on our social channels so folks can vote on who did the best. We throw up the picks and there are strong opinions. So excited to hear how that goes. So typically, Cam, we let the first person pick the first category too. So why don't you pick category and we'll all join you on that one.
Right.
And then you get first overall pick. There's a chance to break my heart and Beck's heart here. So congratulations to you.
Where are we starting, Cam?
All right. Well, let's start with let's go with family hauler first.
Oh, interesting. Not sure we've ever started there before.
All right, great. My selection for family hauler, a bit close to my heart from a manufacturer perspective, but I went with a 1997 Volvo 850R.
Oh.
So you're getting turbocharged 5-cylinder. You could get this with a 5-speed with a limited slip from the factory, which I think is rad. But yeah, 850R is basically you're taking an 850 and you're getting some.
There it is, right on my list, right under my family. There it is. Well done.
Sorry, man.
No, it's a great pick. What color?
Oh, that's tough. There are some really good deep cut Volvo colors from that era, but I have seen a few in factory. I don't know if it's an olive drab, but I think it's just an olive green that they did. And that is one of my favorite colors just in general. So that with a 5-speed would be
okay. So you're rocking 5-speed.
I'm
That's
rocking
good.
5-speed. One reason, and I actually didn't realize this until I did some more research, but the 5-speeds actually came with a slightly higher pressure turbo system.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was tuned slightly differently from the automatics, and I think those were tuned or downrated to save transmission life in those. So even more of a plus in my book for why you're going to get in the 5-speed. But yeah, I mean, I just think the looks of those cars, they're so boxy and really just speak to an aesthetic that I enjoy. And I can imagine it'd be a hell of a fun car to drive around in.
They're really fun. Have you never driven one?
No, I've never driven one.
Shout out to my buddy Roddy, who had a 850 turbo non-R sedan in high school. Still loves them. We still talk about them all the time. He would always quote, I think it was from Car Magazine. It was definitely from a British publication. They grip like a drunk to a banister, which is one of my favorite pieces of automotive journalism ever.
That's great.
I still think about it. They're so fun to drive. Chris Baxter, our colleague and producer of this podcast, still holds on to his
does
wagon.
He still have his? Okay.
It's a turbo wagon, not an R.
Okay.
Was the 5-speed US or only Europe?
I think you
or
could,
outside of the US?
I think you could get it in the US.
Okay. Great. They have great wheels. Ours have great wheels, those black wheels, which look so good.
Mm-hmm.
T5R is one of my faves, but there's no T5R in 97. Is that right? The yellow ones? Yeah. Okay.
So.
Anyway.
But that yellow is fantastic.
It's a great pick. It's a really interesting place to start. It leaves some of our fighting till later when we get to sports cars and wild cards and stuff. Great. Well done. And honestly, you took something that I wanted. So well done. Double well done, Cam.
Hey, appreciate it.
Any 850 thoughts, Beck, before you pick your hauler?
I had picked a V70R in our last 90s one. So a huge fan. I tried to stay off because I feel like there was some crossover there. But it's before Ford bought them, right? So I would say, honestly, the last hurrah of the old school Volvo. I love those as well. So the family hauler, I feel like, is a very odd time in cars in late 90s.
There's some transition of body styles, some brand new stuff out and some classics still around.
Because wagons are starting to get abandoned, frankly, right? We're starting to see SUVs come into the marketplace. And so I felt like I needed to stand out on my wagon for my family hauler. And I'm picking a 97 Aston Martin V8 Sportsman, which was the 3-off made wagon version.
Oh, I've seen those before. It's like a shooting brake kind of. Is it 4-door or 2-door?
It's a 3-door.
Oh, okay.
But it is, I will say, not the most attractive face.
It's not that. It's not terrible.
I thought the idea of a V8 front engine, a rear wheel drive, shooting brake.
Is it a Zagato? Is it a Zagato body? Who does
this
the body?
one? There was like 3 different companies who were all basically dropping in and making shooting brake versions of whatever the V8 powered Aston was for anywhere from 91 to end of that decade. I actually felt like the one before, the generation before, was the actual Vantage one was more attractive. But
I actually think these are good looking.
I think these are pretty great.
It's unconventionally attractive.
Unconventionally, a little ugly, beautiful.
Okay, how would I describe it? What do you call it? Just a Aston Martin?
Aston Martin V8 Sportsman shooting brake is the whole.
So one clarifying point here. Just having come from a family with multiple siblings and having had vehicles where you do not have door access to the rear.
Correct.
How do you feel about the flip down and having people have to shuffle in behind the driver's seat?
I mean, Alex does it every day in his Civic.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I haul kids in it every single day.
I have kids in my old 911. I agree. It's not ideal, especially if you're doing drop off where you don't have to get out of the car. I mean, that's challenging. But I thought this was unique enough that I'd probably live with it.
Yeah.
I'd survive.
There's a couple things I'll say. One, it's a great pick. It's once your kids are old enough, it's fine for them to crawl in the back and put their seatbelt on. I've been putting a kid in a car seat in the back of my coupe, and so I have this like hunchback crouch move that I'm really good at now for putting my kiddo in the back. But I drove my 912 down here today, and man, driving a interesting car every day. I was literally having this thought as I was stepping out of it here at the office an hour ago. I was like, man, this is the only thing that we should all aim for as car people is driving something really interesting every day. And I think we all have mechanical sympathy, and you get like, oh man, I don't want to rack miles on this car and wear it out. But man, does it feel great when you're in a special car every single day.
What's kind of odd also though is driving the boring, relaxing car makes the special cars more special as well. I don't know. It's a weird.
Yeah, there's an equation there. Yeah, 100%. That's for sure true.
I've had it where like I was dailing my E46 and at a certain point I was getting annoyed with it because it was just, it was a little bit too stiff, and I was a little tired of shifting in city traffic all the time. And then hopping into my wife's Golf to go ferry kids around. And all of a sudden I was like, man, that's so relaxing. And then when I got back in the E46, it felt new again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an important, I think, aspect to, yes, special every day, but having some sort of blandness actually almost makes a special better.
That's true. I mean, like my Civic SI Coupe is probably a car that a lot of people would aspire to have. And like, it feels like, humdrum because I drive it every day,
Sure.
So, and it's definitely not a humdrum car by any means. So, all right, good counterpoint.
Definitely by the sounds that you've made in front of my house, it's clearly
picking those up. I do a burnout every time I go by, buddy. Great. I'm glad to hear that. I did it on the way home from the airport with my whole family the other day, and they were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I got to do it." I do it in front of Patrick's house too. He actually texted me finally. He's like, "I hear you." And I'm like, good.
Nice. Well, a fantastic pick, Beck. I can't say that Aston Martin shooting brake was on my.
No, it's not even on my long list.
Bingo card, yeah.
Well done.
Nice
well
deep
done.
cut.
Okay, I'm surprised that I'm getting my family hauler pick. I thought for sure one of you might take this.
All
So
right.
I'm going to take a E36 M345 sedan, 5-speed. A lot of people like them with the slick top with no sunroof. I would take a sunroof with my kids. I'll have that. But Dakar yellow, ideally.
Nice.
97 is a good year for the M3. I would argue it's one of the best cars of the year. That's the year in the US it goes up to the 3.2 liter motor, which is the preferred engine for everyone. This could easily be daily driver too.
For sure.
Like there was a kid in my high school whose mom's daily driver and family hauler was a white E36 M3 97. Automatic, hers was. I would take a 5-speed, but I mean, great car.
And for a while, that was the only 4-door M3, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next
right.
generation didn't have it, and now you have to get now they split it up with M3 and M4 or whatever the different chassis codes are.
Yeah,
I
but
can't
it's
keep
like
track
back again. I can't keep track of any.
Well, you can get like the Grand Coupe version, and it's just weird.
It was all more simple back then. So for me, I'm not sure if we've talked about this before, Beck, but this is the M3 of my youth, like when I was getting into cars. So the E36 is actually my favorite, which I don't think is a super popular opinion. How are you an E30 guy? What's your favorite?
I mean, E46 was when I was in high school, that's what I was seeing. And it felt like such a massive improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just the storyline that we never got the quote right motor
Correct. Yeah.
for the E36, even though I've driven Roland's E36 M3, I don't have a European version of that to even compare to. So like it's tough for me to really judge it. But I think when you're young, you just sort of grab on to whatever journalist said about the opinion regarding where you've got the dumpy motor version. And so I just always kind of pushed it down. And then the experience of the interiors and how those cars have changed over time. But I will say, I think from the outside, aesthetically,
that's the reason I like
it
the most.
fantastic.
Yes, right.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And all the race car versions of them are amazing.
That
it's
may
the best
come up
delivery
again.
of all those. It really, it's moved up on my list probably every year.
It's aesthetically one of my favorite BMWs of all time, the E36. I love them. I like the TI. I like all the
TIs are
versions.
great.
Yeah. What about you, Cam? You're Gen Z, time is a flat circle person. What is the M3 for you? Can you speak for your whole generation?
Yes, let me speak for my entire generation. It's funny, as being a car person for quite a while, BMW is never a make that I really dove too heavily into.
Oh, interesting.
And so I really have loose opinions on
That
these.
is not true of the rest of your generation. BMWs are popular.
Very popular. Yeah, I don't know why I never found myself diving down that rabbit hole too far, but so very loose opinions. I would say the E36 ranks close to the top for me. I just have a heavy nostalgia for E30 M3s.
Of course.
Like the boxy rear fenders of those and the lines are just so appealing to me. But I love the front end looks of an E36.
Yep.
Specifically there's a specific photo I'm imagining that my buddy Trevor, who you guys know, took, where looking down on an E36 M3 on the front fascia of it, it is such an aggressive angular. It looks like a race car if you were just focusing on the front like eighth of the car.
My dad calls it the front oil. He doesn't really he doesn't care about cars that new, but the oil cool. He refers to them as like the oil cooler BMWs because they have that whole extra bit down below the grills, right? Which looks so good. And you could later get on like just a sport pack for a non-M car.
Yeah. So aesthetically, they are, I would say they're my second favorite M3. Yeah.
I've kind of made it a bit to hate on the E30 M3 because they're so popular and screw the 4-cylinder and all that stuff. But I was checking out, I think it's 911R has a one of the special editions, an Evo or something live on the site right now. And it is hard to deny how fantastic that car looks. The original
story of it.
Yeah,
if it being the actual homologation
100%.
car is
and the original of anything is important, right? The first of anything,
Yes.
right? And that's the first M3. Okay. Congratulations, me. Really good pick.
Excellent.
Who's winning right now? Probably Cam. Maybe Beck. Certainly not me. I always take the humdrum picks. All right, Cam, where are we going next?
Want to take it to sports car?
Ooh, all right. Let's get it done.
I have a feeling this is where we might start stepping on each other's toes a bit.
Yep.
Let's see here.
This is where it falls apart further for me.
For my sports car, I honestly had a 97 is a tough year because I do feel like there are a lot of sports cars that could easily be used as a daily driver.
Oh, yes.
Depending on your level of comfortability and how far.
Yeah, or if you're Beck, you use it as your family hauler.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There you go. So this was actually a tough choice for me, and I ended up going with a 97 Integra Type R.
Oh,
as my sports
interesting.
car,
Interesting.
Which I do think could also be a fantastic daily driver. I think they were a little top of mind for me, just based on that incredible result. We had on that,
shout it out.
On that low mileage, 4,800 mile Integra Type R coming from RTCH Cars.
Yeah, the real-time collection haul.
Oh,
Peter
yes.
Cunningham, our guy.
And I mean, what a result! But for a
say it.
For
Say
a
the
stellar
number.
example, $204,204.
Wild.
Insane result. Congrats, Peter.
There's going to be a few. Well, there are probably already a few internet think pieces on that one.
Oh, I'm sure.
I love the flex move on bids when you get to that high 204, 204.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Right?
Just
or
having fun
the
with
old
your money.
Gullwing 1, 2,
Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Once
Like
you're
that's
doing
great.
that on an ITR, it's like there's people who are like, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
200 grand, 300 grand doesn't matter. Like I'm
Demonstrate your dominance.
Correct. That's right. What is it that Seinfeld said? I have a strong income stream and I don't care. Or something like that. He was like, it must have been on Spike Ferriston podcast, or maybe you turned me onto it, but it was some quote where he was like, I wouldn't want to be bidding against me. I have a strong income and I don't care.
Great line.
Now, is 97 first year in the US? I think it might be.
I believe so. And I believe the lowest number of
and white only, right?
And,
You have
white,
no
and that was the
choice.
thing, which
white.
feels so interesting that it's the same with the Honda Civic Type R now, is you almost can only get it in white.
Yes.
And so with this one, when I look at if you search 97 Acura Integra R, the only ones that aren't white are JDM examples that have been imported in. But
right.
Yeah, very good choice.
But yeah, one of 320 built for the model year for the US. And yeah, just the white over white, again, a classic aesthetic, very 90s, a bit of a harkening back to the 80s in a sense, but just a fantastic, fun little 5-speed get around. And this was a toss up between sports car and daily driver for me.
Yep.
But
it worked very well in either. It's number 3 on my overall list of cars I wanted. So well done.
Yeah.
Some people prefer the non-4 headlight. Is that 97 too, where you can get the Japanese front fascia?
The Honda version?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Which
I'm not sure
personally,
in the US it was.
Yeah, I don't know if I think you could only maybe get the sedans with that.
Oh, that's right. There's sedans. I forgot about that. But you like the US 4 headlights?
Man, it's tough.
People have come around on those, I think. It used to be people would swap the front ends. You remember that? And they'd put the Japanese, more standard lights on. I personally like I think it's part of what makes them unique.
I think it's very charming. If you had asked me when I was in high school, I probably would have said, take that front
Swap
fascia
it off,
off, throw those single headlights on. But no, I think they're very quirky and charming for such an interesting sports car.
Fantastic. Great pick. Beck.
All right. For a sports car, for me,
you're going to break my heart here, I'm sure.
I probably am. McLaren F1. Specifically, there's a specific one, Rowan Atkinson's car in burgundy.
Yes. Probably the only one in that color, right?
Just amazing.
Wow.
Yes. Which he used to take his kids camping in. Look up the stories on that car. You drove it a lot. I think it's probably the one with the highest miles too. It doesn't have 40 or 50,000 miles on it.
I think so. And also, is this the one also that which one had to get rebrecked?
Yes, I think it's this one.
And does he still own it, or do I remember?
I think it finally sold, but relatively recently, and when they were way up in value.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also we've had a lot of amazing cars that are in the multi-million category that have been on BAT, but still no F1s. But someday.
That's right. You know what I noticed it's very rare that I come across a car we haven't listed at this point. We've listed almost anything unless it's like super low production numbers. But you know what we have? It's not going to come up in this draft. We've never listed a Triumph Italia, which is interesting. I was on a group chat with my buddies and they were like, what is this car? I'm like, that's a Triumph Italia. Those are really rare. They made 300 of them or something, but we've never listed one of those. It's very rare that I come across a car like that we've never had one. There's pre-auction listings, but none from the auction era.
Interesting. Yeah, only 330 produced.
Yeah, they're very, very pretty. They're like
They're
a
beautiful.
TR3 underneath, but they have a, I think it's a Vignale body. They have a very pretty Italian body on it.
Mini, Ferrari 330.
Mhm.
Yeah,
vibes.
very
Totally.
much so.
Totally. It's definitely an Italian coach-built body. I just
Slightly
can't
better
remember.
than the Stag.
It's
Is it Vignale?
designed by Giovanni Michelotti.
Oh, well, yeah,
Um,
but who made it?
Oh no, it's Vignale.
Okay, that's what I
Correct.
thought.
Yeah.
Great pick, Beck. I love it when there's a specific chassis to attach to one of these. I actually don't have a lot of those because, to Cam's point, the honorable mentions are going to be crazy. I have an embarrassment of riches here on sports cars that are left. I'm actually like having a little bit of a hard time deciding what I want to do. I mean, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take 993 Twin Turbo. It's one of my favorite cars of all time.
Yes.
There's actually a specific one of these that I'd love to chase down too, that we've never listed. It's an arena red over gray car that a family friend of ours bought new. And as far as I know, her husband passed away many years ago. As far as I know, it's still sitting in their garage with 5,000 or 6,000 miles on it.
Wow.
Ordered it new from Cutter Porsche in Santa Barbara. The 500E that we had was bought from that same family. And I remember the 993 sitting there. I don't need an S.
I was just going to ask, are you paying the premium for?
Keep it like the older I get, this is like a plenty fast, hard-edged car as it is.
Sure.
Keep it soft. I don't need anything like 400 horsepower is plenty. I'll take the Burlwood trim. Like I'll take old man spec. You know what I mean?
It's interesting to hear. I don't know if I've ever heard someone say that there's a specific car they're looking to track down, specifically a Porsche, and that is a XX exterior color over gray. That is the interesting choice for me.
It wouldn't be my first choice. It's just I've talked to this family friend. I see her every few years at my cousin's house in Santa Barbara, and I always talk to her about it. And she's always talking about selling it. She's even flirted with the idea of on BAT, but it's a little bit of a talisman for the husband who was really into cars. And she has 2 sons that are about my age, and then 2 stepsons from his previous marriage who are, gosh, in their 60s now probably. They all love it too. And I think there's a little bit of like all 4 of these boys would kind of love. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm sure they miss the five. In fact, one of the reasons they sold us the 500E is the son who's my age. We bought it when I was in high school. He got so many speeding tickets in the 500. He got 4 speeding tickets. And so they're like, we have to get rid of this car.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point you lose your license if that happens.
I believe one of the this is statute of limitations is over. I believe one of the reasons that my dad was still practicing law a little bit on the side, so I think he was like helping him maintain his license.
So what would your ideal spec be?
I like, this is going to be so boring and you guys aren't going to be surprised. I like the yellow on those cars, and honestly, probably yellow black. I mean, would be the ultimate. They use the yellow in the publicity photos. You know, there's a picture of it like with it's not. I don't think it's speed yellow. It's like a more autumnal yellow, isn't it?
I don't know. I just is this also where the speed yellow is the same as Ferrari fly yellow?
Well, there's also fly. So we listed a paint to sample S very early days, maybe even before you worked here, Beck. That was paint to sample Ferrari fly yellow, which is like an amazing flex.
Incredible.
Yes,
to paint your Porsche, paint to sample in a Ferrari color. But that was the days when.
But it's late 90s. Porsche's desperate.
And it was also like when the Weissach department meant something, and it was actually like, you pay us and we'll do anything you want. You know what I mean? Before paint to sample became like I guess it's not a marketing ploy, but it's like, it was underground. People didn't really know about it.
Didn't have the infrastructure either to also
totally.
like make it standard for anyone to have it as an option.
Well, is it now? Is it even paint to sample at this point, or does Porsche have like that book that I?
You gave me this book, Cameron gave me this great book. There was a deep stack of all of the paint to sample options for I want to say 2024.
I think so.
And you're not wrong. You're not providing them a sample and then they match it. So, for example, my 78911
paint to sample is like predetermined.
It's
colors.
just another exclusive level above and beyond the optional colors, and it would. Probably honestly, it sounds kind of lame, but sometimes it's just because that color wasn't available that year, right? So it could be like it was an optional color last year. Now it's not an optional, but now it's paint to sample, so it just costs more to get it. My 78911 is what they called back then color to sample. That's actually what it says on the invoice for it.
That's what paint to sample is a misnomer to some extent for older Porsches.
Right.
And they
weren't paint to sample.
And that was,
they were paint to sample, but it wasn't called that.
Right. It wasn't called that. And it's both color to sample exterior and interior. So you get to like choose from a swatch specifically what you wanted for it.
Yeah. It just meant you were having the Weissach department do something custom. Sure. I bet they still will, but at exorbitant cost, I'm sure. Okay. Good round. Beck, I think you may have taken the lead there.
Maybe.
Cam, you conceded that to him. That's your fault. But maybe you can redeem yourself on this next round. What do we got next?
All right, let's pull it over to truck and 4x4.
Okay.
I kind of had to go with a classic here. Curious to see if it's on either of your guys' list. But I'm just going with a 97 Ford F-250 single cab with a 7.3 power stroke.
Oh.
You would have definitely held your value. Those things sell like crazy now.
Yes. Two-tone.
Two-tone.
What are your tones?
Yeah, give me the custom and give me the light blue with the white. Just your classic Ford colors. But that's
You want short cab or long cab?
give me short cab.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, single cab, short bed. I think that was an option.
Can you get a short bed on a 250? I don't know if you can. You can definitely get the single cab.
Maybe not. But man, just growing up where I did, kind of in inland East County, San Diego, I saw those trucks everywhere. And the black smoke pouring out of them, the whole deal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just a heavy nostalgia pick. I've ridden in tons of them. They are just raw 4x4.
I presume you want 5-speed too, right?
Yeah, 5-speed. But they're just get the work done vehicles. And just, those Power Stroke engines, I think, are regarded as some of the most
Used to tow my race car with a 95 F350 extended cab, 2-wheel drive. Maybe I had 4-wheel drive. I can't even remember. But I remember you could put it in first gear, pop the clutch with no foot on the gas on a hill, and it would just start there's so much torque on that thing. Like, he was like unstallable. And we would tow our big enclosed trailer, which was way overkill for our race car, like up a hill in 110-degree heat with the air conditioning on, and the temp gauge is still just sitting at the bottom of the, and I know trucks are way crazier than they used to be, but that was my first experience with like, oh, this can do anything.
Yeah. And with all of the bulletproofing options you have now for those engines, I feel like you could keep those trucks running.
Oh, I'm sure.
Millions of miles.
Sure. And they all got used up, which is why nice ones are
super
premium.
rare.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is a weird, I think, era.
You said blue and white for your two-tone?
Blue and white, or honestly, give me just all white on some nice silver rims with a slight lift on it. And I think that's just a nice looking truck right there.
It's a weird time for the F-250 when it's tough to tell when it's actually from just by looking at it.
Oh yeah, is this a 1971 or is it a 1990?
Which I love about them as well.
Correct. Just these giant manual side view mirrors. Like, it could have been a 20-year span. You just have no idea. I love that they were still carrying that on, because also the F-150.
That's the first year of the new round body styles, 97.
It totally changes. And when you're doing the Google AI search for like 97, it kept popping up because the 150 won a ton of awards.
Yes, well, it was such a big shift because the 150 up till 96 looked the same as the 250 still, and had the old straight six, that 4.9 straight six in it and everything. And it was a big.
Much rather be seen in the big F-250.
I'm not sure those original F-150s have aged great.
No, they do.
Except for the Lightning. I'd say the Lightning.
I love the Lightning. Yes, I've drafted
It was not available in 97.
No, it was not.
It
was not.
But but was it they had a Lightning of the earlier square body?
Yes,
it did. Yes, we just had a great one by Cascio.
Yes, which we saw a long time, like almost half a year ago.
Correct.
Did it sell?
It did sell.
What did you get?
I think it was 50K or something.
Okay. I thought it was in the 60s when I saw it. Anyway, it was very low mileage.
One of my favorite trucks we've listed is a early square body Lightning with kind of a trophy build to it. We've listed it a couple times now, and it's just like a fantastically well done build.
I love Lightnings. I think they're so sick.
75.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Good for Joey.
150 mile. I did not realize I had that mileage on it.
Yeah. Loved that truck. It was exciting when we saw it.
Wonderful.
I was talking to Randy about that truck a little bit.
About that truck.
Do you, isn't there in 97 a proto Excursion too? Or maybe it's even called an Excursion. Isn't there like a custom bodied big SUV based on the full size F-Series?
Is this you trying
maybe
to
I'm wrong about
pre-screen
that.
your choice right now?
No. I wouldn't do that. I actually have like lots of good truck options. I found this was maybe when 97 sealed the deal to me. Like, I was like, oh my God, normally I struggle with trucks because I'm not a huge truck guy, but I'm like, there's so many trucks I want from this year. I think in part because when I was in high school, I had my green 912 and sports cars were not cool. What was cool in the late 90s at Slow High, at least, was lifted trucks. So all the cool kids and all the rich kids had like Yukons, and I resented the hell out of them back then. But now I'm like, oh God, they look so good to me.
There were 0 trucks in my school park.
Oh, that's so funny.
Being in the city.
So I believe that 96 was when they phased out the Bronco, and 97 was when the Expedition was introduced.
Yes, right. But the Expedition's on the F-150, so it's got that curvy body
right.
style.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think there's a big square. I can look it up later. We don't need to debate this on the mic. Beck, I don't want to like expose myself completely before you pick yours.
I went pretty out of the box
Oh.
with this one. I fantasize of the idea of, I don't know why, but I love the ideas of H1 Hummers.
Oh.
But that's not my choice.
Okay.
I'm going with the Japanese version, Toyota Mega Cruiser.
Nice.
Is that on your list?
Mega Cruiser versus H1.
Nice.
Amazing.
I didn't think anyone would take this.
Yes. I don't know. It just stands out as such an interesting, different variant. They made left-hand drive versions, which
There's
is important.
very few of them, right? It's like it's the Japanese military truck, right?
150 were
It's
made.
the Japanese military
Correct.
truck.
Yes,
So
it's
yes,
their
right.
attempt. Yes, and it's in much like I think Japanese approach is copy and perfect, right? It's your Toyota Land Cruiser of the Jeep. And it's something I've never seen one in person. I've never ridden
I didn't
one.
know about it till I worked at BAT. Till we listed
same
one.
here,
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd never heard of it.
Me either.
Same
No.
for you? No, yeah.
That would be my pick for my 4x4 off-roader.
God damn it. That's what I was going to pick too, because I've kind of been obsessed with them ever since we saw one. It's so cool.
What engines did those come
It's just
with?
a little four-cylinder
Just a little
diesel, I
four-cylinder
think.
diesel, yeah.
They're actually quite a bit lighter and maybe smaller than an H1. And I'll just go ahead and spoil my pick because we can have this debate. I'm going to take an H1 now because
Good.
I was like debating between the two.
Mhm.
Hummer was a car I really disliked back in the 90s. I thought it was kind of stupid, and like I just freaking love them now. The question for me is whether I would want a military surplus, because my favorite is the pickup truck, Humvee. So
Open top?
I like them with a hard top, and then you can put canvas over the bed, kind of.
Surplus ones are rough, man.
I know they
They're
are.
so rough.
But there's that one company that like singerizes them basically, that like,
Mhm.
you know, like dials them in and does all this stuff to them. You can get a million pound-feet of torque in them and everything.
Sure.
But I think I would actually just take the street version, you know, the
H1,
in 97.
for sure.
Yeah. For H1.
For me growing up, it was the Arnold Schwarzenegger being seen driven in the
But he had a
H1.
converted military one, right? Like he was
Oh, I don't
early.
know.
I think he's the whole reason they became a thing, right?
Became
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
And then additionally, when mentioned
With a
before
big
for films,
stogie. A stogie. Yeah.
was The
Good little
Rock
chopper.
coming out and Sean Connery driving a
Yes.
Hummer down the streets of San Francisco, which for me was like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only
And that was a
borrowing your
street.
Hummer.
It was black. That's a
This is
street
black
version,
one,
right?
street
Yep.
one, being chased by Nicolas Cage and the F355 Spider. Or Coupe. I actually can't recall.
That's right. Speaking of honorable mentions ahead of time. Although we still have Daily Driver. Could you daily drive an F355? Probably.
For sure.
Great pick for both of you. Exciting all around. Again, like, I mean, we can go through them in honorable mentions, but there's a million here that would have been good. No one took a Tacoma, which is interesting. Although that could be a daily driver.
Mhm.
Okay. Stop, Alex. All right. Is that where we're going next, Cam?
What do you guys
Daily?
think? Do you want to save wild card for last?
We typically do, and I think it's the right way because that gets a little crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, daily driver. We can debate whether I am allowed to keep this one or not.
Hedging language.
Based on Alex's sports car pick, but I was just going to go for my daily driver with just a classic 993 Carrera S coupe.
I think it's okay. What do you think, Beck?
I think so.
I think the
No
turbo,
turbo? Yeah.
turbo and I think they're different enough.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
This was a
Just a
toss-up.
C2 6-speed, you mean?
Yep, C2 6-speed. 97, 98 were the only years for the S of those. But yeah, when people ask me, what would your dream daily car be? I always go to just a 993 C2. I just think that would be a lovely car to cruise around in. You get the wider rear fenders of the turbo, but I don't need a turbo in my daily driver specifically. But that's just a fantastic looking car, final model of the air-cooled engines and 911s, and just hard to beat in my opinion.
Easy to drive every day too.
Yeah.
Like no doubt about it. What about color? A lot of good colors.
A lot of good colors. Man, if I was just going to choose one of the more widely appealing colors, I would probably just go for silver. I think those
great.
cars look fantastic in silver, especially the rear end. That dark, long rear tail light against silver, I think looks fantastic. I was going to go for a more fun option. If I was going to get my PTS color, I would probably go for like an Aga blue.
Oh,
Nice.
interesting. Okay. I mean, it is such a beautiful car. It would be so easy to daily drive. And there is something as you point out about the rear end without the wing. It's the one thing I like the wing on the turbo. It's got that weird downturned lip and everything, but and the classic 911 rear, I know a lot of people like whale tails and they like duck tails, but there's nothing like that slope of the rear of a 911. I think it's the best looking angle of a 911.
Is that Hatter? Is that Hatter designed?
Oh, I don't know who did the 993. It's the first, I guess there's different ways to look at it. It's the last thing you could legitimately call tied to a 1964 car in some ways, although it's so different at that point. Yes. The 964 is when it really starts changing, and the 993 is, you've really changed the bodywork. Above the belt line, it's very close, but everything down below, the end caps are so different by the time you get to that thing. You've got slope back headlights. The bodywork is considerably different and kind of unique. The 964 is much more traditional, and the 996 is a totally new shape. So it's a kind of a unique styling era for the car.
And they've held their value insanely well since even the pandemic bubble.
They never really depreciated the way a 964 did either. Because people knew they were the end of the air cooled right when it was happening, right?
Yeah.
And I think with the reception of the 996 initially, 993's already had that.
100%.
Yeah.
The 996 hate was early and remains around. I think it's starting to change a little bit, but obviously that's a stupid statement. It's been changing for a long time, but the 993 still holds more cachet.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was a Hatter design.
Well done, Cam. All right, Beck, daily, where are you going?
Staying in Germany, but different town. I'm doing an 850 CSI.
Ooh, good.
Nice.
For my daily, I feel like this
They're 6 speed only, right?
6 speed only.
Yep.
And in Hellrot, in red.
Nice.
Oh, God.
I'll even give...
And parallels.
In parallels. Very good.
Is there a lot number on that one? Is that the one you want?
It's the wrong year for us. So, but I imagine I would have hoped with this that the red was available in 97. But love these. What turned me on was kind of as a child starting to learn about the M world and understanding this as like the sleeper M was, I think, incredible. Some connections with the McLaren F1, not really, obviously. Eventually, I think
the block is the same, right?
Right. There's some connections there, but really heavily reworked. But yeah, I think these would be a phenomenal daily. Just super comfortable, but if you need to get on the freeway and pass everyone, easy to be done.
Yes. Great pick.
I was not clued into the McLaren connection on those.
Yeah, the McLaren's got a BMW motor. I just read this morning somewhere that it is still, in terms of top speed, the fastest normally aspirated car.
Yeah, 240 miles per hour. I want to say was the record.
Out of 600 horsepower, which most cars need more than 1,000 horsepower to go that fast.
Yeah. We were probably on the same pages researching F1s this morning, Alex.
That may have been exactly what it was, honestly. Okay, great. This leaves me a good pick, something that I debated about putting in a different category. I'm going to take a 550 Maranello as my daily driver.
Okay.
I worked on one in the early 2000s. They're surprisingly kind of big and stately and plenty of power and the gated shifter. And again, driving something special every day. There's a kind of a medium blue color that they come in that is like a blue gray. Let's see, I have one pulled up here. It is Le Mans blue Le Mans. Man, do I like those cars. I've always liked them. I liked them when they were new. They've always been something that I've been interested in. And I've been having a little bit of a resurgence of my love for them recently. And they're starting to go up in value too. They were not ever a buy, but they were affordable for what they were, I think, for a long time. And that's kind of over.
The shark grills on the side are fantastic.
Yeah.
Was 97 the first year for these?
Great question. It probably is, or very close to it. Maybe there's 96 Euro cars or something like that. But this would be very close to the first year.
I think it might be. No, yeah. Fantastic design. I feel like a bit of a departure for Ferrari from what they were doing prior to this model, especially with the front end. It's very stark and quite different from, I feel like, anything they put out.
So simple and elegant, though. I love S2000s too, right? Like just simple design. That's the one I have up.
Yes.
Look at that car.
Fantastic.
Right?
That is...
What's that lot number?
That lot number is 161204. It is...
That's a Euro car, but still. I mean,
blue Le Mans.
What a stunner, right? And it's got all the kind of classic, I know this is maybe controversial. I'm not the hugest Daytona fan, but this has a lot of the Daytona lineage in it. Big front engine, V12, high speed, gated shifter. It's got those, kind of ribbed seats, that ribbed upholstery that's so classic. And man, they feel like they're carved out of granite. It's been a long time since I've been in one.
Sturdy.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, wonderful.
Right. All right, let's get into the wild stuff. Where are we going to go, Cam? Your eyes are lighting up.
I have a feeling that I may have chosen a wild card that you guys might have chosen. But
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I just feel like, man, when I think of 97, like very cool cars that came out that year, my head goes straight to a GT1 Strassenversion.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, that was on my list. I'm sure Beck's too.
I mean, I'm just a massive fan of homologation cars in general.
Oh, you mean the street version?
Oh, yeah.
Strassenversion,
Oh,
sure.
interesting.
97's got a few of them. 98, it's pretty much impossible. There's only one car.
And
97 is also the race cars too?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And was 98 when they transitioned to the 996 headlights on them?
Yeah, they were trying to promote the 996
Oh, that's
coming
right. They've
out.
got two. Yes, that's
so it's
right.
very much 993 based for 2 years, and then
And the race cars all got
996.
upgraded to the fried egg headlights, I feel like.
Definitely, if they were still running by 98, they
Yeah.
were, but Porsche factory was only running the one mobile car.
Right, which I saw in 99
Right.
running
What are you
at
talking
American
about?
Oh, wow.
broke immediately. But it was outclassed by that point already.
It was. And it was a completely different construction. It was like carbon fiber bodied and all that stuff. But
What did
97
you say you call the street version? I didn't.
Strassenversion.
Strassenversion? That's
Yeah.
what it
Street
is?
version,
Okay,
that's all.
okay, great. I'm just going to write street version here because I'm not going to try to say that word out loud.
But I mean, just in
They're white only, the street ones? Or no, they silver.
I think
feel
they're
like
I believe they're silver over tan.
Yeah.
And yeah, just from a homologation perspective, the fact that you could buy a carbon Kevlar, monocoque prototype race car for the street that came with air conditioning, leather seats, your basic trim options that Porsche was offering for the time for interior, but double wishbone suspension on all four corners, like 3.2 liter twin turbo. It's just insane that someone could go to Porsche and buy this car and
Totally.
drive it out of the dealership onto the street. Just baffles me. And I mean, the design of this car is so close to the race car version that
I mean, it looks just like it. I probably would have chosen a race car version had I gotten this pick. I just researching this morning. There's a Marlboro liveried one. Have you ever seen that?
That was my choice.
Oh, that was your
my-
choice. Okay, great.
nice.
Yeah, anything SIG related. But it's such a good choice, Cam. I agree with everything you say. There's a video that like lives rent free in my head. It's either a white or a silver one in Paris with some rich guy getting into it on a cobblestone street, and he's trying to like turn it around in the street, and it's about a 27-point turn because
Nice.
the wheels barely turn. I mean, it's just not made to be a street car at all.
No, in no way, shape, or form. But dang, does it look?
Oh, it's
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
Well, I think this is the one we all wanted. Is that fair to say, Beck?
For sure.
So
Sorry.
well done. You may have just locked the win up for yourself.
A
Cam.
roof scoop can't go wrong.
Correct.
I think that any car that's got a roof
No.
scoop is
Yes.
just fantastic.
Correct. And now it's become a little trite. A lot of cars do it, but like it was very novel back in the day. In fact, that may have been the first car I remember seeing that on.
And you can really see the nod to what the rear end of the Carrera GT eventually
Oh, totally.
will
Yes.
become right
Totally.
there.
It's in theory supposed to be kind of a 911, right?
Basically, I mean, it is
Yeah.
the 911 GT1. That is
Right.
the name of it, at least.
Yeah,
Lies.
But
because it was mid-engine.
Totally.
Yeah, it was,
Totally. All right, Beck, where are we going? What are you doing?
well, I got so knocked out by that choice that I am going up into the air in my 1997 Aviat Husky.
Oh,
A-1.
great.
Nice, Beck.
Great.
All right.
Alex,
First airplane
I will-
drafted ever, I think.
I will remove my mouth from the microphone so you two aero nuts can geek out over this.
I actually don't know these very well. I'm much more of a Piper Cub fan myself.
Well, it's like a hot cub.
It's like
kind of thing,
basically
yes,
more
correct.
powerful Cub to have a passenger
Tandem
with you.
tail dragger.
Tandem tail dragger,
Stick-
big old
stick
wheels,
control,
stick controls, super important.
Fly it at your ranch with the windows open.
It landed on your own grass front
Uh-huh.
yard. Don't even just need a windsock.
Totally. No
And
radio, no headset.
nothing.
Yep.
No, none of it. This is true.
I feel like I'm listening to you two talk about your retirement.
Totally. And yes, amen. And this is cool because this was an actual BAT lot, and it has a 3-bladed propeller, which is weird, but they're 180 horse, so they got more power than a Cub. And then the big thing is they're stressed for aerobatics. I think they're like plus minus 4 or 5 G, so you can pull G's in them, which you can't do in a Cub.
lot number 186699. Great livery. It doesn't really look like a 90s livery, but then again, that's sort of how airplanes always were. They kind of always look like.
I love it when they have like a
60s,
7.
70s.
Yes.
Land Cruiser of the sky.
It used to be that the most common, like if you took all the year models of airplanes that are currently flying, like the median year was 1977, because in the 70s,
Sure.
there was a huge boom
Interesting.
in the private. It was cheap to buy relatively cheap to buy a private airplane. And then it's gotten more and more expensive. So tons of 70s planes are still flying.
So inform me, a plane like that, Is that typically going to be bought by someone just to be used recreationally, or is that going to be used for, pond hopping from airport to airport, or just the person buying that? What are they looking to use that for?
Yeah, it's for people who are doing general aviation in areas, I think ideally where maybe runway availability isn't terribly reliable, or at least the condition of runways are. Because having a tail dragger like that with big floaty tires on them, the idea is you can be landing it on a grass strip on someone's, large piece of property, or I think a lot of bushwhacking planes, say in Alaska. I think there's this like dream that if you're flying one of those planes that you could be like delivering the mail in like rural towns of Montana where like they're completely removed from society and you're their lifeline. That's kind of what I would love to do. Yeah. And it's like the type of flying that if I ever get back into aviation, that's all I'd want to
100%. Yeah. Off field, landing off field. It's like not on paved runways.
That's very cool.
Sport flying too. But yes, it's for messing around or for the functions that Beck is talking about. And I think I'm wrong. I don't think Huskies are for aerobatics. I think I'm thinking of Citabrias and Decathlons, which have the same kind of layout as well. But these are tandem, so the two people sit right in front of each other.
Okay.
Anyway, great pick. I thought about that one, obviously. I'm going to stick with a car because that's what I'm prepped for. And I have two that I'm very interested in. I would take, this is the last pick of the draft, I would take one of those American Le Mans Series E36 M3 sedan race cars with the big flares on them and everything. But I already took an E36 M3 sedan, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a Honda Accord British touring car. I've been thinking, ever since we were at the races with Randy and Howard, I've been thinking a lot about what kind of race car I would buy if I ever buy another one. And a front wheel drive touring car is what I would like. So the Accord from 97 is kind of the classic. If you've ever seen Accord touring cars, it's the white, black, and red Honda livery.
Looking at it right
big
here.
white wheels. They're all slammed down, but it's still front wheel drive and still kind of production based. The racing was so good in that series and so close. How sick would that be? And like that's a vintage car at this point.
90s touring car racing, if they could like somehow go back in time.
Is it some of the best racing? It is some of the best racing of all time.
If they could bring like the modern approach to how you could see inside the car and all of the lap timing and all the modern technology to display how the race is going, would be just the perfect combination because it's phenomenal time.
Yeah. I mean, for listeners, if you haven't done it, go out and watch a British touring car race from the 90s. It's unbelievable. The racing is so close and the guys are driving them so fast. And my favorite kind of racing is related to production cars, right? So something that you could like own and drive on the road. And it would be tough for me if I didn't get some Honda product on the 90s thing, right? Like Integra Type R. I thought about Civic Type Rs. We'll do honorable mentions here in a minute, but I got to get some Honda product. So it checks a lot of boxes for me. They look wild.
Crucially, important thing to go watch, by the way, Top Gear's review on sort of historical look back on British touring car racing is a phenomenal one to watch. And they voted for the coolest BTCC racer, and it was the 850R.
The wagon.
As selected.
Yeah.
That thing is
I looked to see if those were 97. I think they're a little earlier. They're like 95 or 96, but those are so cool. Yeah. I think one of those has been drafted in one of these, probably in the 95 year.
Well, I mean, just not even looking at the race car version, but 97 Accords, how many of those things are still out on the road? I feel like probably the vast majority.
In the Bay Area, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they are everywhere. Great pick, Alex. A fantastic livery. Cool period of racing.
And like something that I would actually like to own. Okay, great. Well, let's recap everything and then we can do honorable mentions. So Cam, first time ever in a really good draft. Family hauler, 850R Volvo, wagon, 5-speed, sports car, Integra Type R, truck 4x4, F250 single cab, power stroke 5-speed 4x4 in either all white or white and blue.
Oh, yeah.
Daily driver, 993 Carrera 2 6-speed, wild card, and this may have locked it up for you, buddy, Porsche GT1, the street version. For Beck, family hauler, Aston Martin V8 Sportsman shooting brake. Amazing. Maybe the craziest pick. Oh, God, you've got a good lineup too, though, Beck. Sports car, Rowan Atkinson's McLaren F1. So freaking solid. I know. Truck 4x4, a Toyota Mega Cruiser, also very strong. Damn, this is a good draft. Daily driver, BMW 850 CSI, and wild card, an Aviat Husky, the one auctioned on Bring a
Beck
Trailer.
Might have it.
I know, it's good.
Lineup.
I think what we can all agree on is I have lost. Family hauler for me, BMW E36 345 in Dakar yellow, sports car, Porsche 993 twin turbo, specific one that I'm looking for in arena red over gray. Actually, I know where that car is. I just can't have it. truck 4x4 Hummer H1. And by the way, I will take the 4-door but pickup version of that. I didn't make that clear. Daily driver Ferrari 550 Maranello in blue, ideally, and wild card, a Honda Accord British touring car.
I don't know, man. Some solid.
It's three solid drives. How about that? Again, 97 is a pretty damn good year. It just is.
And we could do this 3 more times.
Totally. We're already like an hour into this. I mean,
no F50 picked.
Oh, that's interesting. There was, okay, that's good. So is that maybe the biggest? I didn't even have that on my list, to be totally honest.
Interesting.
What else? What are some others? I mean,
I was wondering
no
if
Viper
Cam was
GTS. I thought somebody would do Viper GTS.
Well, I learned my lesson last time I picked up Viper. Everyone like dumped it. I also,
I mean, they're not wrong.
Oh man, it was on my short list for sure.
I was wondering if Cam was going to pick for nostalgia reasons. Boxster first year.
That's on my list.
97. So that
could have been daily driver.
Yeah, my daily drivers were 850 CSI, Integra Type R, and then Boxster. And the only other one that I also feel like I missed out on was I've got a soft spot for a G-Wagon Cabrio.
Oh, interesting.
Would be fun. They could get them in gasoline powered, and now you can import them into the US too. So,
no F355 picked?
No F355.
No E39. I was thinking very strongly E39 540 Sport 6-speed. I thought that might be on somebody's list.
No M car by that point. So for the 5
it's
series,
only but that was a popular one, the V8 with the 6-speed.
I was really debating throwing. I think this was the first facelift year for Prelude SIs.
Oh yes,
which is a huge nostalgia.
I wish Zach was sitting right here. I think that would have been on his list.
Yeah.
Civic Type R is the other. Yeah. That's the first year of the Civic Type R in Japan. Right-hand drive only hatchback. An amazing car. NSX. It pained me not to pick one. I could have picked a Type S, which is the fixed roof Japanese one. That's kind of a little stripped down, 100 pounds lighter. That's 97.
RX-7.
Yep. That's right. That's a good one. Not in the U.S. anymore, or still in the U.S.? Or were they only Japan by then? 97.
I think they were U.S., I believe.
The FD. Speaking of cars that copied the FD, it's first year of the C5 Corvette.
I was going to say C5.
I really like, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, I really like the Camaro from that era. And there's the SS 30th anniversary white with the orange stripes. We sell those all the time. 6-speed with a LS1. Yeah, that's Cam saying no thank you.
I mean...
Oh, God, no. Oh, you know what? I take it back. The only thing I would take is CHP had a version of
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we just listed a couple of them.
Really, did we? Okay, that one I would take. That's about
How about SVT Cobra?
SVT Cobra is fantastic.
That would be a good daily driver.
80 series, Land Cruiser.
Yep. Supra, twin turbo Supra. I can't believe we haven't mentioned that yet. What else do I have on here? Did anybody draft a Volkswagen?
No, which is
GTI, VR. I love VR6s, so VR6 GTI or even a Jetta with a manual transmission.
Would have been a phenomenal daily driver option.
Totally. Second generation 240SX, which is not popular, but which I really wanted as a 16-year-old. 318 Ti and 240SX were my kind of top cars I wanted as a teenager.
I would say Subaru SVX.
Oh, that's a good one.
Weird fun.
That's kind of towards the end of them, right? Because that's like a mid to early 90s car, I think. R33 Skyline is another one I have on here. E38. BMW, that could have easily made family hauler, daily driver.
Lotus Esprit, if there's
V8 by then, right?
Yep, V8.
Yep. That's a iconic car. I think that's about all I've got for honorable mentions. I have some crazy ones on here that I'm not going to admit that I added here. I will, this one that's kind of marginal, the return of the SHO Taurus, which is the V8, automatic only though, and that less fortunate body style, but that's an interesting car. I think that's 97 only.
Okay.
I had as a potential wild card, Beck, Edsel Ford's DB7 Aston, which I think was a white glove car, wasn't it?
It was a white glove car.
That car specifically is such a cool car with such cool history, and that's an interesting DB7, the supercharged 6-cylinder DB7.
Yep. And Edsel, we have another car for him in production right now.
Edsel Ford the second, I should say.
Correct, yes. Yep. I have another car for him in production right now, a Shelby of his.
Oh, very cool.
Amazing. All right, guys, did we do it? Cam, did we do it?
I think we did it.
How did it feel?
Great. Appreciate you guys having me on. It was fun.
We loved having you on. This was a little bit of a test drive. I think we could have him back.
I believe so. I think we'll allow it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, gentlemen, so much for doing this. It's a pleasure as always. And thanks to all of you for listening. Don't hesitate to send any suggestions or feedback or complaints or concerns or love. We like praise too.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it to podcast@bringatrailer.com. Thanks as always for listening, and we'll catch you next time.